Are you Marty?
Yeah.
What brings you here?
I don't know. Phyllis made me come. My sister.
Huh. She must be very persuasive.
เมื่อจิตแพทย์หลอกตุนคนไข้
I don't trust him.
ถึงเวลาหาคำตอบว่าใครกันแน่ที่ป่วยกว่ากัน
Without trust, we have nothing.
I do trust you. I trust you completely.
The Shrink Next Door มินิซีรีส์ตลกร้ายที่จะพาคนดูไปตั้งคำถามกับตัวเองว่ามุกนี้ควรขำหรือว่าฉันควรกลัวดี
Everything is fine.
You know what word I'm getting a little tired of hearing from you, Marty?
The F word.
จาก Apple TV Plus หยิบเรื่องจริงชวนช็อกของความสัมพันธ์มันไม่น่าจะเข้าท่าระหว่างนักจิตวิทยาอย่างดร. ไอแซค เฮิร์ชคอฟและผู้ป่วยแพนิครุมเร้าอย่างมาร์ติน มาร์โควิตซ์
Okay, honey? Yeah. Having one of my panic attacks, and it'll pass.
เริ่มแรกทุกอย่างก็ดูเหมือนจะไปได้ดี
You're a good man, Marty.
I'm not gonna let anyone use you.
แต่สิ่งที่มาร์ตี้ไม่ทันฉุกคิดก็คือยิ่งพวกเขาสนิทสนมกันมากเท่าไหร่ด็อกเตอร์หัวเสก็ยิ่งได้ผลประโยชน์จากเขามากขึ้นเท่านั้น เกิดเป็นการหลอกลวงหวังผลและอำนาจแสนวิปริตที่กินเวลานานนับทศวรรษ
He's living in your head.
I am going to take care of everything.
พบกับการรวมตัวของดาวตลกแนวหน้าของฮอลลีวูดลืมไปเลยพอรัฐผู้แสนดีจากแอนท์แมน
What is he doing here?
Helping us, what do you think?
งวดนี้เขาจะมาหลอกตุนวิล ฟาเรลเพื่อนซีที่เคยเล่นหนังด้วยกันในแองเกอร์แมน
Right! The news team is back!
Here we go.
แต่อย่าหวังว่าจะตลกแดกแบบเรื่องนั้นซีรีส์เรื่องนี้คอมเมดี้แบบโคตรดาร์กรวมด้วยแคทเธอรีน ฮาร์นนักแสดงหญิงฝีมือเหลือร้ายที่ล่าสุดรับบทเป็นนางตัวดีแอกัธา ฮาร์กเนสใน Wonder Vision ครั้งนี้เธอไม่ได้ร้ายแต่รับบทเป็นฟิลิส ชาปิโรน้องสาวที่อยากจะเตือนพี่ชายไม่ให้หลงกลคนมาดดี
Therapy is really working out, huh?
It is, it really is.
แต่คนที่โดนตุนไปเรียบร้อยคือเคซี่ วิลสันในบทบอนนี่ เฮิร์ชคอฟสีภรรยาของดร. เจ้าเล่ห์ผู้ไม่เคยรู้เลยว่าสามีของเธอซ่อนร้ายไว้แค่ไหน
First thing I'm going to do is completely unethical. I'm going to give you a hug. No, I'm a hugger.
เพื่อเจาะลึกเบื้องหลังเกมตุนช็อกโลก Apple TV Plus จึงได้ให้โอกาสพวกเราจรอ JUST DO IT สัมภาษณ์2นักแสดงนำหญิง Kathryn ฮาร์นและเคซี่ วิลสันพร้อมด้วยผู้สร้างฝีมือเพชร จอร์เจีย พริชเชตผู้เขียนบทซีรีส์ยอดรางวัล Succession และไมเคิล เชวอลเตอร์ผู้กำกับหนังรอมคอมชิงออสการ์ The Big Sick
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi, man. It's so great to see you because you are one of the best comedy writers and directors out there. Yeah, and since you made a heartwarming film like The Big Sick, and I thought in this one you're gonna make something like a light-hearted romance story with Will and Paul, but actually, no, you took a darker turn, which I like. Why did you choose to tell the story this way?
I mean, it's based on the podcast, so very much was working with the source material. There is a dark element to the true story that we wanted to capture, and I think I'm just fascinated by the psychological relationship that these two characters have.
Welcome.
When I listened to the podcast and I talked to other people about it, so many people were saying, Marty was an idiot, he's a fool, Ike's a terrible person, and I thought that's too simple. We have to look into why Marty behaved as he behaved and why Ike behaved as he behaved. And they're human beings, and we have to show compassion and not judge them and try and understand it.
The goal of life is to live. We'll turn you into the man you truly deserve to be.
So is it hard like translating the audio form into like a picture, like a TV series?
In this case, I mean, I had the scripts to work from, so there was that intermediate step. But I also know that when I was listening to it, it was all very visual. You could imagine these characters. You could imagine the world that they were in.
It is because the podcast was very much told from Marty's point of view, and it was, a documentary. So to try and bring life to the characters and not be on anyone's side was difficult, but it was also fascinating. And I really believe we could all have been Marty. We could, in the last 18 months, we've all experienced feeling isolated and lonely and afraid. We've all been bereaved. We've all felt vulnerable. And so I truly believe that what happened to Marty could happen to any of us in the right circumstances.
What's the big deal if they think it's my place? I mean, who cares whose place it is?
I agree.
And you work with so many talented comedians. Why do you think Will and Paul are the perfect fits for the roles?
We talked about it's almost a romantic comedy in its own weird way between these two characters. There are comic elements to it, but then there are also, these characters have a lot of personal pain, and each of them have personal issues that they're trying to work through. And I feel like Will and Paul are both incredibly gifted, not only as comedians, but as actors as well.
Feels good, doesn't it? Yeah.
And Kathryn, what is it like being Will's sister?
Well, it's interesting because I met him so early on at the beginning of my career. I had the teeniest 3-line role in Anchorman, and then in Step Brothers, was a different relationship there. And so to meet him in this capacity and playing kind of there's some real feeling and real depth to our relationship, it was a real pleasure. I think he's such a tremendous actor. And so to play with him in this capacity was just a dream. It's too bad he's such a jerk.
I know, that's the shame.
Phyllis! I'm trying to be ruler of my own domain.
And Casey, from the viewer's perspective, Paul's character seems like an antagonist, right? But as for you, who played as his wife, Bonnie, how do you see his character?
I think she's in love with her husband. He's very charismatic, and I think in a way she's kind of his first mark in a sense. And I think she absolutely loves him and thinks he's such a catch and has trouble kind of discerning or seeing the reality of him. I think sometimes in relationships it's hard to see. We don't want to see certain things. So I think she struggles there, but over time is kind of starting to see some things.
So much fun.
Is that allowed?
Well, I did the work, didn't I?
As someone who watches every Apple TV Plus original,
Yeah.
you can see some of the similarity themes and patterns of mental health issues. Does Apple make telling these issues a priority? And what is the best part of working with them?
I don't know if they make it a priority. That's really interesting observation. It's been great working with Apple. They're incredibly supportive, and I think they felt, as we did when they heard this story, that this was just a great story, and they've just been incredible to work with all the way through this process.
I feel like I'm on drugs. I mean, I've never taken them before, but I assume this is what drugs feel like.
They definitely were very interested in that aspect of it. And I think, when I said to them that I didn't want it to be victim and villain, I wanted to try and understand both men. I think a lot of people assumed a Paul Rudd and Will Ferrell thing would be an out-and-out comedy, but they were totally supportive of me wanting to make it a more nuanced and emotional story.
You clearly have a good eye.
Me? You're the one with the good eye. Eyes. 2 eyes. The appropriate quota of ocular spheres.
So lastly, let's tell the Thai audience why this show is a must-see.
Yeah, I think that there's something about that's so relatable about influence and manipulation of the human spirit, and that a cult of one is completely possible under the thumb or influence of someone else at the expense of the rest of your family or the rest of your life. It can happen so quickly. It's funny, it's sad, it's seeing those guys in ways that we haven't before. It's all of it. I'm very excited for people to see it.
Why are we running? I don't know. Run! You're a growing Marty!
Is
he your psychiatrist?
Psychiatrist, business partner, best friend.
How does all of that work?
He just has no boundaries, and I don't trust him.
Cut her out of your life.
She's the only family I have.
I do believe you have just had what we head shrinkers call a breakthrough.
Oh, Jesus.
And we're out of time.
Oh. Yeah.
The Shrink Next Door 12 พฤศจิกายนที่ Apple TV Plus เท่านั้น
But before we go, Kathryn, are we gonna see you back as Agatha Harkness?
I love Agatha Harkness, and as you know, Marvel is keeps it real close to the vest. So we shall. I am waiting with bated breath along with you.
Can't spill the beans, right?
ก่อนจากกันไป บอกพวกเราหน่อยครับว่า การโดนหลอกตุนครั้งไหน เจ็บใจคุณที่สุด ถ้าคุณรักการดูซีรีส์และไม่อยากพลาดคลิปสัมภาษณ์สุดพิเศษแบบนี้ ก็อย่าลืมกดซับกดแชร์กดไลค์และกดปุ่มกระดิ่งแจ้งเตือนเอาไว้ เพื่อไม่ให้พลาดหลากคอนเทนต์สุด Exclusive เจาะลึกถึงความบันเทิงหลากหลายกว่าใคร ที่เดียวที่จอดอ Just Do It พิมพ์ Just และ It ภาษาอังกฤษส่วนดูภาษาไทย